It's last orders for the European football season, and as we start to sail off into the summer, into the off-season, we're coming into what I believe is going to be the biggest off-season cycle window that we've ever experienced on the platform. As you guys will know, my main strategy on the channel is always about staying ahead of the curve, so much so that I was doing my summer planning with you guys on the channel back in March. But with all the stuff that's been brought out over the last, like 4 to 6 weeks, with the collection bonuses, and even in the latest announcement we had last week that monthly leaderboards are going to be in the offing as well, on top of the advent of the cash wallet, that system where any player will be able to open up a Sorare account and be able to deposit and withdraw without having to worry about cryptocurrency and Ethereum wallets and all that jazz. For players like me who start off with basically a couple of cards and look to gradually build their club up to being something that is known to Sorare scouts and managers around the world as a competitive club full of good prospects and knows their stuff about cards and players. For players like me and you, this is going to be the biggest opportunity that we've ever had to go and strengthen our club and really enhance our opportunities to win the prizes on Sorare that we desire the most. Cards, cash, money can't buy experiences, signed shirts, everything that's on the table for us this coming season. Because at this point in time, there's only 2 things that I'm absolutely certain about forecasting between now and this time next year. And that is that cards will go through a lot of different situations with transfers, injuries, different club dynamics, and all that good stuff. So it's going to always be those changing tides across world football that we've come to know and love on the platform and how they impact it. But on top of that, between now and this time next year, in terms of Sorare and how it is as a platform, I cannot see it having less users. I can't see it regressing. I could only see it progressing. I could only see it developing and enhancing and getting better and stronger. We are at last orders for the European football season, but we're also at last orders for getting your club absolutely primed. And I don't mean looking after your base strategy, like, oh, have I got 3 goalkeepers to cover all the game fixtures and all that stuff? I mean the aspirational strategies where over the next X amount of time, I would hope I could build a club that would have teams that look like this and compete in these divisions. That's the opportunity to strengthen and enhance the club that we all really do have in front of us in this summer. Because believe you me, with all these new dynamics and strategies, prize pools, in-game dynamics, as well as who knows what else is up their sleeve over the next even 6 to 8 months. The one thing I know for certain is every time that happens on Sorare, there's always been an opportunity that I've been able to identify for myself that I've managed to move my club on. And in the video today, I'm going to be talking about that. And I'm also going to ask a big favour of you guys who are watching the video today to help me out in the comment section of the video. We're going to be talking about where I see things going and exactly what I'm doing at any point in the video. If you do laugh, you learn, you like something or whatever, please do like and subscribe to the channel, share and retweet and all that good stuff, guys. And let's get stuck into it. Now, probably the first thing I want to tackle with you right off the bat here is what do I mean by an aspirational target? Okay, now it's probably quite obvious in terms of like red cards and blue cards and all that kind of stuff, okay? But it's not just, moving up divisions, but it's actually like, if you're going to be playing Sorare, and let's imagine for the next 3 or 4 years, what would you really want to see yourself achieve out at that time? Would it be unearthing lots of wonder kids that go on to have amazing careers? Is it sheer just yield, winning money, pulling that out the game? Is it winning cards? Is it winning the money you can't buy, experiences and shirts and having a cool collection of stuff to own and to, have your piece of the game? Because Sorare is a game that's for everyone, and the prize really is football, no matter how you cut it. Because even for me, the money that I win out of the game quite often, in one way, shape or form, finds its way back into the football ecosystem somehow. And for me personally, my aspirations on the game are always leaderboard centered, always on that, I just want to see my club and my name up in the highest leaderboards I possibly can and as high up on those leaderboards as I possibly can through using, my fandom of football, the clubs I support, the players I follow, the players I find and I come across and I think, wow, I see something in that guy, I really believe in him. And using, my eye test, the data sets that I like to use to really reflect my club and the success that I pull in the game. That's really what motivates me more than anything. And as I look at, my club at the moment, I think one of the biggest statistics or one of the biggest metrics that everyone has to be looking at this point in time right now is your card count. How many cards do you have in each scarcity, and marrying that against not only the divisions that are currently on offer, okay, but you probably need to add the way the collection bonus stuff has went. And again, this will be, take with a pinch of salt depending on your exact situation or whatever. But if you're in a situation where you've got a lot of cards on 2% and 3% is achievable, then I would very much urge you go for that. Going to 4% and 5% on this scale is going to be very, very difficult. If you want more details on this, there's a video on the channel that really explains it in a lot more detail. That'll be linked in a little bubble at the top of the screen now if you want to go and check that out. But getting to 3%, if it's achievable, is a strategy that, for a core strategy, for a core team that is really going to be aspirational, that is really going to move your club forward, is something that we want to be thinking about achieving. And it's not something we want to break our neck or break our back for, but in some of the really big divisions, the power divisions, that 3% will be a difference maker, no two ways about it. And we also get to a stage as well when we're examining the metric of cards, how many numbers we've got. We're very quickly looking at the positional count and the numbers there. And the key one at the moment for me is goalkeeper, okay? Now, at the moment, we're going into the European off-season, and a lot of goalkeepers are relatively desirable and undesirable to different extents. And any dips that are seen, for me, no matter what scarcity you're in at the moment, no matter what you're in at the moment, there is going to be a couple of rare goalkeepers that will help you in your strategy no matter what over this next period. Even if you're an exclusively limited player, some of the opportunities that might come up for a rare goalkeeper at the moment, you might not get again for a long time, to be quite frank. And even for players like myself that are maybe a bit more, excited or motivated by blues and blacks and whatever, again, the rare goalkeeper trade is always one that really does need to be considered and looked at. Because if we are going to get monthly leaderboards and we're going to get, new competitions and new special editions of stuff out all the time, having not just variety of goalkeepers for guys that, because what we've seen with the Matrix over the last season with goalkeepers in its latest iteration is that goalkeepers, you really need a clean sheet or a guy that's mad active to make it happen. And, with goalkeepers, it is really a coin toss every single week, which is why I don't lose any sleep over them. I don't really trade in and out of goalkeepers very often. I generally just get guys that I've got 9 out of 10 confidence in and just bank them and keep them in, and then kind of move up and down, sell guys and buy guys as I need them to play divisions and enter divisions. Now, again, on this channel, my strategy has always been kind of staying ahead of the pack, staying ahead of the curve, because I don't have an infinite budget. And I started my club off almost 3 years ago. And as you can see here, when I picked up my account, the 20th of June, I didn't really buy any cards to July or anything like that. I didn't get to having, let's see here, about 6 months or something. And again, different times and different colors of cards and whatever, but it took me a good 4 or 5 months to get up to that kind of 100 card mark. Okay, now whatever your core scarcity is at the moment across all the regions, even if you're just focusing on one region in particular, with the amount of competitions that are on offer, for me, someone that likes to, I think from that point there up till now, I think most game weeks I've had 2 to 5 teams that have been competitive over an average. Obviously, this is, my maths that I'm just making up as I'm talking to you, but my general feeling is over that time I've had roughly, sometimes 0 obviously, but maybe 2, 3, 4 competitive enough teams in the kind of rare pro kind of realm for the most part. Sometimes obviously recently that's been more super rare. And whatever metric you like to dial into, I was saying this recently with the members, but I hate buying defenders. I've always got almost, and obviously there's always a bit of wiggle there, but the defender goalkeeper count I have is normally quite tight, So however you kind of build your club out, normally you'll probably want to keep those ratios in check as you acquire goalkeepers. But the reason I'm saying the number is a really important metric right now is because with all these competitions that are going to be coming out, and with how ferocious and how difficult and how demanding the leaderboard can be, you need options and you need variety. I was kind of had this example in for this game week, where I picked up a Pablo Mari as a tier 2 or a tier 3 rare reward, and he was called into action for me this game week, okay? Now, the reason this is appropriate or apt, okay, is because this guy's never worth that much money, right? He's worth like maybe 40 quid, 50 quid, something, right? I won him. He's not a great prize. He's kind of cool. I've kept him. And he was needed this game week. He was like my 5th or 6th choice defender for Europe as I'm laying out my grand schematics on my whiteboard and my notepads of my teams and how I'm going to play them and all that good stuff. And when I'm playing him this game week, I'm thinking, I should really have somebody better than Pablo Mari. But when I kind of zoom back and I walk a step back from it, he is like 5th or 6th choice. I do have better guys on paper there, but the actual situation around them just wasn't great this weekend. Now, having guys of a good quality at 5th and 6th position for your aspirational, for your core strategy, it takes a long time to get to, of course, okay? Is this my core, my aspirational strategy? No, it's not. So I'm personally identifying this as I'm speaking to you guys that, like, this is taken care of now, so like I do feel that I've got, based on my card count, the success I've had on the leaderboards, and how I feel picking teams game week to game week, I probably have a fair amount of reds. I probably don't have quite enough limiteds because we've been doing some Road to Glory stuff and we've been changing the strategy there. And with super rares, obviously, I could probably do with a few more cards. But I'm now revisiting all of that because if I feel comfortable with that now, and I know coming up into the next season, there's going to be more stuff that I want to win, there's going to be more stuff that I want to compete against, and I know how deadly in particular the rare goalkeeper can be for just making a game week mince, then my card count and the amount of playable goalkeepers I've got is 100% something that's getting revisited and getting attacked. Now, as you can see, the latest acquisitions I've actually got into the club here. We've got Noto, who we won, which actually helps us a little bit for the supers, which is great. But I've also went and picked up a few limited goalkeepers. Now, with the collections thing in mind, and as we were just chatting about with rares, if you're going to be a collector on Sorare, and this is exclusively for those people attacking collection bonuses, if you're getting the 3% by hook, by crook rather than by hook, if you're going to get backup guys and super subs and all that kind of thing, then I highly recommend using them as competitive as you can make, obviously depending on the cap, 220 lineups. Because for me, for Champ America, when I did that summer planning back for you guys in March, I realized I need a super rare keeper for the summer. Otherwise, I'm only going to be playing 240 in All-Star with any real competitive threat, because Kosetani is under 23 option, won't be that reliable, and I've not got the funds to go and get a better U23 keeper, especially if I don't already have a super rare keeper that I want to go and get. So for me, in the summer, and that kind of long kind of period that we see here, based on the metrics and the competitions available for the European off-season, I'm comfortable, I feel set, but I'm very anxious and I'm very restless over what to do with the rest of my cards, because I've got a lot of crossroads to come at to, and like I said in the intro, I've got a favour to ask you guys in the comment section, and it is quite simply, if this was your club, with everything that we've spoke about in the video and everything that's coming out, if this was your club, FC Barcelona, hostile takeover, whatever it might be, imagine you've got it, right? What would you do with this club right now? Because normally, guys, when I'm looking at reds and blues and blacks, I can imagine all sorts of possibilities and imagine, oh, if I brought this guy in, I could do this. And if I brought that guy in, I could do that. And oh, if I sell him, that could turn into, blah, blah, blah. But right now, guys, honestly, like, I'm not excited about anything I see on the market in terms of like, oh, if I bring this guy in, it means that I can attack this strategy harder, or this guy really compounds it. Now, I've done the base analysis. I'm sure all of these will probably run and do for me quite quickly. Goalkeepers, oh, you need a super rare mid that's in Challenger. You need a goalkeeper that covers internationals. You need a striker. You need this, you need that. I know that kind of stuff, right? But I mean, aspirationally for me now, I'm unsure where to really lead the top of my club. What division is it I'm really going to lean into and go and attack? And, equally it is with some of them, really what ones now with the collection bonus and some of the other dynamics that are going on are maybe, cannon fodder, maybe better off in the market, can maybe be very useful to somebody else, and in turn, kind of recycle that round. Because for the upcoming European season, I quite simply want to keep myself up in the top of the podiums. I feel that I'll be doing my end of season review in the next week or two, but I feel that I've hit enough podiums versus the objectives that I set at the beginning of the season. And I think my squad I've got now could probably handle repeating the kind of success I had this season. But like I said, enough times there's going to be more, and there's going to be more, and there's going to be more. So, I don't want to be... I do feel quite limited in the amount of teams I can play. You might be the same as well. And in different times in your Sorare journey, your career, the growth of your club, depending on how long you've been here, maybe you've felt that other opportunities just would never come into grasp for you. And any aspirational one that you could not previously foresee coming within grasp, if they are within grasp, then I would be on the notepads. I would be on everything, constantly, trying to work out, is there some way that I could really, make this happen, you know, where like that guy's not that far away, that goalkeeper that's a scarcity different, or that power player captain pick that I would love to get into my club that would really enhance the main strategy I'm going for, complete my collection, or within the view of the monthly leaderboard. For me personally, that's why Pablo Mari comes up, and I'll go back to my club and reference it again with the 220 play, right? But for me, if I do want to add numbers, right, one of the best things to add for numbers, for depth, like I said with Pablo Mari, and I've got a few other examples in my club, but honestly, the value of tier 3 and tier 4 guys that are solid averages, like Pablo Mari's of this world, and I don't know, Stefan Savages and Jordan Larson's, and, you know, different there's all sorts of guys in my club that are like this. I maybe don't have enough power at the top of my rare picks at the moment, down to club situations and injuries and whatever. But guys like that, they never really make too much sense to sell, and you always end up keeping. Those are the guys that really can make these things happen, where you can play more teams with a good competition level. And I think my Pablo Mari is kind of a little bit of what helps me convey this to you guys on the screen, you know, because even in this week where it's like, oh, I've got a great team for Celtic, but there was another division to play with Cap 270, I went and put my Taylor there, and then some other guys didn't have some good games. Sorare data, lineup builder says Pablo Mari is your best defender this week. Then that gives me some confidence that I can play him. And hey, didn't even get a clean sheet and he brought in a big score. But if I didn't have like tier 2 and tier 3 guys buffing the club up, then a victory like this, if it holds, which I believe it will, wouldn't happen. So for me personally, I'm in card acquisition, I'm in buffer, I'm in numbers. I want to grow the club. I want to get back up to about 100 rares. I'm thinking in the super rares, I probably need to get about another 10 in across different positions, and that's going to take much longer. And with the blacks, guys, with the uniques, like, I do feel like a real crossroads, because Mulgrew, I think he's still under contract at Dundee United. Also, he's 35. He's a coach player. He's probably going to stay with them, I think, and probably play and then retire. So it's probably a dead card now. So I'm back down to 2 U's. And then, you know, like, how good will Edward be next year? Who will the manager be there? That's like kind of unknown. So I feel like maybe getting another one of these in now, unless Mulgrew moves to another team in the SPL, maybe I'm going to hang fire with blacks for the immediate term, and I'm going to focus more on my reds and my blues. And also we're doing Road to Glory stuff with the limiteds, where we'll be going through some strategy stuff here, there, and everywhere in between. I hope you've enjoyed this one, guys. I cannot wait to check out the comments in a couple of days, and we'll revisit all of this together next week. Don't forget to like and subscribe, share and retweet, and all that good stuff. On screen there now is some other stuff that I've made that YouTube thinks you might enjoy, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.